They will never sit on their hands to see Kenyans suffer.
Today we are here
across the country, representing the interest of the aged also across the country. From the Western region, Busia County, Honorable Catherine Omanyo, also representing the interest of Kenyans across this nation. We're also here with Honorable Amo from Starehe, Amos Mwago. Amo ndio best, ukienda huko Starehe hivyo ndio anaitwa, representing constituents from Nairobi County, representing Kenyans from within the nation. And we have a presser. Each member of parliament here will be given an opportunity to speak about issues, the state of the nation, matters affecting Kenyans, the issues of concern. We have a presser that I will read, then after that we'll give an opportunity to every member to say a word. Now we have apologies from some members of parliament. Mheshimiwa Kibagendi from Kisii County. We have an apology from Mheshimiwa CNN Charles Nguna, representing the Eastern region. We have an apology from Wanami, all the way from Bumula, Bungoma County. We have an apology from Mheshimiwa Umi. We have an apology from Mheshimiwa Mwenje, Nairobi County. We have an apology from Mheshimiwa Caleb Amisi. We have an apology from Mheshimiwa Kibagendi. We have an apology from Mheshimiwa Basil and other Waheshimiwas, from Mheshimiwa Ledama Olekina, and we also have an apology from Senator Eddie Okech. So we will read this, and we'll also give you a way forward on how we will be working as Team Ground moving forward. Our fellow citizens, let me once more start by expressing my solidarity with the Kenyan youth and families who have lost their lives, sustained injuries, been abducted, or whose loved ones have been calling for good governance of their country. We are making this address in response to the many phone calls, text messages, social media uproar, and direct requests to us by distressed Kenyans who feel the political class has abandoned them after the recent constitution of a new cabinet by President Ruto. Number one, after suffering for many years because of bad politics, poor governance, corruption, and incompetence in the management of the affairs of their country, the Gen Zs and millennials of Kenya came out in large numbers to exercise their Article 37 rights to assemble, demonstrate, picket, and petition their leaders. In this bold move, they outlined the issues they wanted the president to address to reduce their suffering and to create opportunities for them. After withdrawing the draconian Finance Bill 2024 and dissolving his incompetent cabinet, President Ruto promised that he would engage in an open national dialogue to listen and get the issue at stake with young Kenyans before forming another cabinet. But in a show of contempt to the young people, we saw the president announce and put in place a new cabinet without any consultation with the Gen Zs and millennials of this country. He has since held no dialogue or any engagement to ascertain the problems that led to the recent protests. Fellow Kenyans, before any grass has grown on the fresh graves of our youth recently killed, before people who were badly wounded in the protest have healed, and while so many families are still searching for their loved ones who were abducted by state agents, we have been shocked to see President Ruto return to his default mode of shuttling from one country to another, and on working from the top of vehicles apparently launching invisible government projects. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to send a message to President Ruto in very simple but clear terms, as the Gen Zs and millennials of Kenya have sent us to tell him that the young people of Kenya feel you are showing them contempt by ignoring all their issues and reverting to business as usual mode, while they are hurting from the burdens imposed on them by the failures of your bad policies. The young people are not happy with the fact that you have refused to offer compensation for the families whose loved ones were shot and killed by the police on the instructions of your agents. The young people are unhappy that you have refused to pay for the medical expenses of the people who were wounded by the police. The Gen Zs and millennials of Kenya are unhappy because you have refused to free the youth who were abducted by the police, and you have refused to drop the trumped-up charges against the peaceful demonstrators who went to the streets to ask for good governance of their country. The young people are shocked that you have refused to drop the new funding model of college and university education, which is forcing them to drop out of college. The young people are asking you to show them the practical steps you are taking to create jobs in Kenya to pull them out of this high unemployment. Mr. President, the young people are asking you to take immediate action to lower the high cost of living that is driving them crazy. The young people of Kenya are asking that you show them the reforms you are proposing to address corruption and looting of government resources by people who are under your direct supervision. They are asking that you show them the reforms you are undertaking to improve the competence and quality of your bureaucracy to enable the government to be responsive in service delivery and development. Mr. President, it is a matter of just a few months, and another Finance Bill 2025 will be facing Kenyans again. The young people of Kenya are worried that on March 2025, we'll find them with no change at all, and they will be forced back to the streets to protest poor governance and poor policies and to reject the Finance Bill 2025. As a youthful leader in this country, together with other youthful leaders and other leaders, we want to appeal to you in a special way that you take your time off the top of your vehicles and sit down with your top advisors, including your new cabinet, and review and change the bad policies that your administration unleashed on Kenyans for the last 2 financial years. Kindly consider the welfare of the children of this country. Please engage the youth in this country and show them that you care for them. Take practical steps to demonstrate that you have the interests of the youth of Kenya at heart before you revert to your default mode of stating in public things that you don't mean and you don't intend. Mr. President, walk the talk. Swing, don't sing. As a Christian, we say you do not do what you say in order to restore the vital trust that should exist between the people and their government. We want to remind you of the words of J.F. Kennedy, that those who make peaceful revolutions impossible make violent revolutions inevitable. Do not tempt the young people of Kenya too much. They have given you a break to reassess your priorities and get things right. They are shocked that you can't get anything right. And lastly, I want to say that should you fail to deliver to Kenyans, there's only one person that I know that will be easily defeated in 2027. Defeating you, Mr. Ruto, in 2027 will be easier than reciting vowels. Any living thing that is capable of locomoting or moving from one place to the other will defeat you in 2027. Even if you take a goat and dress the goat and put it on the ballot, we'll defeat you in 2027. Thank you and God bless you. Let me take this opportunity to give Mheshimiwa Mudhoni. Sorry, Gadoni. I'm used to my wife's name. She's called Mudhoni. Gadoni Wamuchomba to address you.
I'm happy to hear I'm in good books. I'm in good books in your house.
You're in my heart.
Thank you very much, my colleague and friend, Honorable Babu Owino. Mine is to just add weight to what statement we have issued as Team Ground. And I want to be a little bit more assertive on matters life. You all know that we have had very many conflicting reports coming through on how many young people who are protesting in the streets were abducted, how many were killed, how many are still missing, how many cases have been processed by IPOA, and I'm sure you know that no agency is giving us information that is matching with the other. We have had engagement with Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and we have their report here. And the report that this agency is giving us is that they have registered 61 people, young people, who protested and died. And their bodies have been located in many mortuaries in this country, ranging from Narok, Nakuru, City Mortuary, Nairobi, Kakamega, Eldoret, Isebania, Thika, Nanyuki, Eldoret, Kapsabet, Rongo, Kasarani, Embu, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Nyeri PGH, Nyahururu Hospital, Bungoma County Hospital, Kakamega Hospital, Kitengela, Kenyatta National Hospital Mortuary, and Mulolongo, and Kiambu Uplands Funeral Home. Now, according to Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, these people died out of excesses of the Kenyan Police Service. The IPOA, the statutory body that is supposed to be oversighting the activities of the Kenya National Police Service, have indicated that they have picked up their own investigations. And according to them, they only have registered 50 people who died, not 61 that we have received from Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. And out of the 50 cases IPOA has registered, they have also registered 19 people who are abducted or reported abducted and missing. But out of all those cases, IPOA has only been able to process 4 files
and submitted those files to the DPP. Out of the 4 files,
3 were returned to them because they were not done properly and there was no evidence. They have only been able to successfully submit 1 file. Now, this is my concern and our concern as parents, and I'm sure this is a concern even for many parents who are following us. It cannot be that a country that is governed by the rule of law, over 61 people dead, and only 1 case can be accounted for. Yet we have seen 2 foreigners missing somewhere in the boundaries between Kenya and Ethiopia. And we have seen the IG and the acting IG and the DCI personally go to that area to locate 2 foreigners who are apparently missing. But we cannot locate the 19 cases IPOA has registered as abducted cases. Does it mean that foreigners are more important than Kenyans? Are we still being governed by the rule of law? Are we still following the fundamentals of human rights protection as enshrined by the Kenyan Constitution? So for me as a mother, representing many mothers and many fathers of this country, we want to echo our complaint, our dissatisfaction with the processes that the government of Kenya has put in place to provide accountability for the protesters who were abducted and those that were killed. The president is on record saying that his government is going to come up with a program for compensation, to compensate the families that lost their loved ones, to compensate the families of those that have patients in the wards, and some patients at home. And we have not seen any effort by the government to even come out and tell us, now that this has happened and 2 months are gone, this is what we are going to do as a government. So we want to call upon the new Minister of Health, who has just been sworn in. We want to call upon the Ministry of Interior, now that we have the cabinet minister already approved and vetted and sworn in. You must come out and tell Kenyans how you are going to start off the process of compensation, taking care of those that are still in hospitals, and making sure that their rights are not violated and their dignity has been upheld. On matters to do with education, funding for universities and colleges, as a member of parliament, I have received a lot of messages from the young people. They feel like the government of Kenya has abandoned the young people. There is no straight communication coming from the government on how the new funding model is going to salvage the lives of so many young people who are stranded in homes, expected to report to colleges and universities. We are requesting the government to come out very clearly and give out a clear guideline. We are only seeing some letters flying in the social media, but nobody is doing a presser like this to address this issue and explain to the young people. You cannot treat young people like they are second-class citizens of this country. This is the future of this country, and you are no longer going to assume the young people of Kenya the way we have done. So we are requesting and demanding, let us demand because I think it's our right, that the minister in charge of education must come out very, very boldly and tell us the way forward on matters to do university, funding, and colleges, and assure those students that are still at home that there is hope for them to resume school and there is hope for them to progress with their careers. Thank you very much. I want to invite my sister, the lovely Catherine Omanyo, to say something.
Mimi nitaongea Kiswahili. Juu kila mtu anabonga hapa kimombo. Nataka kuelezea wananchi wa Kenya kwamba hatukuangukia mkono mzuri kupata president kama Ruto. Hapa awali amekuwa busy anarandaranda Tokyo, Japan, sijui Japan ndio wapi, Tokyo ni wapi. Kila saa ako kwa hewa. I think hiyo ndio adventure anapenda, hobby. Ilikuwa inaitwa hobby tukisoma at what are your hobbies. Because saa hii namuona tu juu ya maprado kila saa akirandaranda. Vitu serious zikitendeka simuoni akienda huko. You can see where his heart is. Kujionesha ma-PR mingi. Briefcase projects ndiye anasema ame-launch. Lakini kitu yenye napeana impact kwa mwananchi wa Kenya aseme walai tuko na president na nusu, hakuna. Juzi toi hapa imeungua, hakushughulika. Hata kusema tu poleni, nothing. Hata huko Kware mili zinachomolewa kule. Kitu yenye hata singeangalia na macho na nyamaza na lilia kwa moyo nikisema what is this really in Kenya, ama ninasoma tu vitu kwa newspapers. Hakushughulika. Lakini akisikia kadili utamuona kwa majet ya 200 million yenye tungejenga ka industry hata kule kwetu huko na Mbale ya Jinari. Tuna very good weather ya kupanda cotton. Lakini trips zake tu moja pekee inaweza jenga Jinari. Na angeamua every 6 months kajinari kamewekwa mahali. The 47 counties sasa tungekuwa na vitu zinaandika our young people. But hiyo hana, kichwa ngumu, kiburi, majivuno. Ni vizuri majenzi wameshekesheke watu hapo, tunaona at least siku hizi wameanza kutuangalia kama watu na uoga fulani. But mtu ujificha tu temporarily. Character real tulishaiona ilitoka. So ni jukumu letu sisi wenye tuko kivyetu, wenye walielektiwa, wenye pia walitu elect, kuhakikisha that we do not even one moment get duped because that is how we get duped, that now things are working, and then before you know it, you're dumped. Just like a sly man, he can tell you are the only fish in Lake Victoria. If you are a fool, you'll believe. So this is Ruto. We are not going to listen to the narratives again, and we will not relent. I'm so happy that as you listen, even in the corridors, in parliament, how people, the real them, when they talk, that president is on his own. Even people who are getting there, that they are going to help, they know very well that that ship is sinking. And even if they are patriots, they will try to help him swim out. But it is a tall order. Reality is, hata watoto wetu wa university wenye wanatakana kwenda university wenye wamesema hakuna haja, watadifaa, wataruka, and then waone vile in future kutakuwa. You know, why postpone a life? We live today. Tuachane na hiyo vitu at new model, tutaki kizungu mingi. Hiyo help ilikuwa inasaidia. Mtu kama mimi, I didn't have a daddy, I didn't have a godfather, but things kama help hizo zilikam through. Sai ninaweza jidai hata mimi nilifika university nilisoma because of that. So if it worked, what has happened for them to start now saying, no, we need a new model? No. Hao watu ni masonko, wana anything, wanaweza hata leta lecturers kwa their rooms, bedrooms, kufundishia watoto wao kwa pilo. But wale hawana hiyo, tuachiwe hiyo old model ya help. Mtoto aende shule, alafu help ita come through, alafu kuna vile tu life ukuja, vitu zinaingiana. So tutaki everything new, mara CBC, mara nini, everything new, my belts, my jackets, the crocodile. We are not interested. Sisi tunataka kitu yenye mwanafunzi, mwananchi, akuwe Wanjiku, akuwe ule wataita wapi, at least in a day, basic needs anaweza afford. Hawataki ati kuishi paka pia wakuwe na majets. But two basic needs, if somebody today cannot afford, then why are you proud to be a president? At least, if he's not listening, mimi nimemwambia, muende mumtumie TikTok, muweke kwa space, wherever it is, that we are not going to sit back and look at him with his new narratives every day. Thank you.
Invite mheshimiwa na invite last born hapa mheshimiwa Mwaga. Mtu ako farm hataki kujua Nairobi solely.
Okay, thank you so much, members of the fourth estate. I stand with Team Ground in denouncing the activities of the president and how he's tried to address the challenges that were raised by the Generation Z and the millennials and generally the people of Kenya. I don't understand why he got his wisdom from by bringing us a political solution to an economic problem and a social and injustice problem. The Gen Zs were not on the streets to have a new cabinet or a new set of cabinet CSS. The Gen Zs put out their issues clearly, but he failed by a mile, he missed by a mile by what he provided as a solution. We want to tell him, as the young people of this country, as a young leader, I'm a leader who came to parliament to bring change to this country. I didn't come to be bribed or to get money or to solicit money from this government. I came so that we can have a future for the young people of this nation, for this country to have systems that will work, for this country to address the issues of corruption that is so rampant in this government, for this country to have a social justice system that will work. You can see by his activities the neglect that he had on the Article 37 of the Constitution, the brutality and excessive use of force on protesters. Yet we say we have a constitution that we respect, that clearly outlines Article 37 as the guiding principle on how people should address the government, how people should protest against, how the people should talk to the government. But we saw what happened. It really defeats me to imagine that this country has lost value for life. We are talking about more than 50 people who have been killed, who lost their lives, and we are treating this casually, like nothing happened. If you go to the DCI, we went there with Loyalty Ndomolo, we had very scant information on the issues of abductions, or the issue of these people who have been killed, and these are lives that have been lost by a government that's purposed to protect the lives of its people. We've seen a lot of property that was lost. Some houses were burnt even in town, but the government has not addressed that. They have swept that under the carpet, and they expect us to just let them be and this to go on we cannot agree and we cannot allow the government to behave like that, because if it behaves like this, it is going to kill our future and our children. The Gen Zs have come out clearly and they have outlined their problems. We are asking the government of the day, come out and tell us what measures are you putting in place to address the issue of unemployment. We are having like 1 million students who are going to clear form for this year. Every year we are having a very high turnover of Gen Zs. What measures have you put in place to address their issue? The current cabinet that you